Ashley, and in my last video I showed you how to make the birds from Rio using a rainbow loom and rubber bands. Today I'm going to show you how to make these cute baby turtles. Today I will be using blue rubber bands, green gel sparkly rubber bands, and black for the eyes. You can use whatever colors you want. Before we get started, here's a close-up on the turtles. Today you will need your rainbow loom, your hook. I will suggest using a metal hook because plastic do tend to break, but if you just have plastic, you can use that and that'll be fine. And today I'll be using blue for the main body color and black for the eyes, and I'll be using green for the shell. I used white last time, but I decided to use green this time. And the green is a gel sparkly color, so let's get started. You'll need your loom in a staggered configuration, and so you want the arrows to point away from you. So you want your loom to be facing away from you. You want the arrows pointing forward. So I will start with the main body color, and I will be double banding this just so it doesn't have as many holes, but you can single band it if you want more holes. So for the head, you'll start on your very first peg and stretch it over to one of the sides. You can do either side first, it really doesn't matter. I do right side because I'm right-handed. That just seems easier to me. Then you'll put 2 more rubber bands on the top peg and stretch it over to the other side. And then you'll take 2 more rubber bands and push these down so it doesn't overlap, and put them from the top all the way down to the center next peg. So you've kind of got like an arrow here. And then after you've done that, take it on one of your side pegs and stretch it up to the next one, the one right above it. And then do it in the middle, put it on the next peg that where you landed when you stretched your rubber bands. Put it on that peg and stretch it forward. Take 2 more rubber bands and put it on the peg that you landed when you stretched your rubber bands and pull it up to the next one. And now you're going to close off the head. If you want a bigger head, you could keep going. If you wanted a bigger turtle, that would be fine, but I just prefer a smaller head since it is a baby turtle. You're going to take your 2 rubber bands, put it on to the peg where you landed, and pull it over to the top peg. And then you'll take 2 more rubber bands and put it on the other side and do the exact same thing. Pull it over. Now you'll start on your shell color. I'm doing green, so you'll take the green and put it on this peg where your head ended and just go to either side with 2 bands. And do it again on the other side. Put it on the top peg and pull it over to the other side. You do want to push this peg down, like all the rubber bands on it, because it does have a lot of rubber bands on it. And you don't want it to overlap, and then rubber bands will start coming off and you'll have to start over or fix it. And then you'll take 2 more rubber bands and pull it up to the next top one. So you've got an arrow again. Take 2 more rubber bands and take it on one of the sides and pull it up. And then do it in the middle. Put it on that peg where you landed and pull it up to the next peg right above it. And then you'll do it on the other side. Pull it up to the next peg. You're going to do this one more time on each side. So I'll do it on the right side, in the middle, and on the other side. And I am filming this, so I'm doing the reverse sides from you. Do the opposite side that I do. It doesn't matter when you're doing your arrow on the head or the shell, but when I say I went one more time on the right, it's going to look like the left to you. So just do the opposite when I say sides. Then you're going to take it on one of the sides, 2 rubber bands, and you're going to close up the shell just like you closed up the head. You're going to take it on the peg that you landed, pull it up to the center peg on the end of your shell. Then do this on the other side, the exact same thing, and pull it up. And now I'm going to start making the arms and the tail. So I'm going to take my main body color, or you could switch colors if you would like. Or if you're running out of rubber bands in that color, you could make it a multicolored one. And I thought that was really cool when I did it. So it's up to you. So you're going to take the rubber band on your hook and wrap it 4 times. If you don't have stretchy rubber bands that won't wrap around your hook 4 times, just do it 3. And then once you've wrapped it around 4 times, you're going to take 2 rubber bands and pull the looped rubber bands over the top of your hook and onto the rubber bands. Then you're going to put the other side on your hook, and that will be one of your legs or your tail. If you want longer leg or tail, that is perfectly fine. You'll just take 2 more rubber bands and pull it on all the other rubber bands over it and push it on. But I just thought that looked like 2 long legs, so I'm just going to do this. Now, if you want to double your rubber bands, all you would have to do is take your 1 rubber band, loop it 4 times if you can, and take your main color, and instead of using 2 bands, you can double it. And then that will make a smaller leg if you wanted to do that. But I just thought that looked too small. So I'm going to do 2 bands looped on there. But that's just how I personally like it. You can do it whatever way you want. And now I'm going to take my rubber bands that I've looped on there, take it, and this can be your leg or your tail. I'm going to use this one as a leg, and put it onto the very top corner. And you're going to do that again. Put 1 rubber band on your hook, loop it around 4 times. So I just went 1, 2, 3. So you're really looping it 3 to make 4 loops. And then I'm going to take 2 rubber bands, place them on my hook, and bring all these looped rubber bands on. I just dropped my rubber bands and they slipped out of my hand, so that was all that happened there. Sorry. And pull those on. to your 2 bands. Put the other side on your hook, and you can use this as your leg or tail. I'm going to use it as another leg, and I'm going to put it on the very bottom corner. So far it should look like this, or if you used one as a tail, you should have one leg and a tail. I decided to do legs first. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to put my hook through a rubber band, loop it 4 times. So it should look like it has 4 times, like you wrapped it around 4 times. And you're going to take 2 rubber bands and pull it up and on to your 2 rubber bands. The ones that you looped, the 4 times that you looped, you're going to pull it up onto 2 rubber bands. I am going to use this as another leg. You can use it as your tail. I am going to put it on to this top corner, and since I had to put it on kind of sideways, I'm just going to twist it around so that 4 loops are hanging out. And I'm going to take 1 more rubber band, wrap it around my hook 4 times. That's 3, 4. And take 2 more rubber bands, put it on my hook, and pull those looped up and onto the 2 rubber bands. And I'm going to put this one in the bottom corner. And since I put it on sideways again, I am going to just turn it very gently so I don't break rubber bands or so it doesn't fall off like mine just did. I'm just going to put it back on. And now I'm going to make the tail. It's the exact same thing as the legs, unless you want a longer tail, or if you want no tail, you would just take a rubber band and wrap it around there 3 or 4 times, as many times as you can, without breaking your rubber band. But I personally like how the tail looks, so I'm going to put 1 more rubber band on my hook, wrap it 4 times, take 2 rubber bands, and put them on my hook, and pull the other 4 on. And pull it up and over, just like that. And then I'm going to put it on the very bottom. And I am actually going to stretch this up to the next peg. If you don't have stretchy rubber bands, you don't have to do that. That's just going to work as a capping band for me. You can put a capping band on there, you just, before you put the tail on, or after, you would just wrap a rubber band around there 3 or 4 times, your shell or your main body color, but I just used the tail as a capping band. So now we're going to make the eyes. And you're going to take your rubber band, whatever color you want the eyes. I like how black looks, so I'm going to use black. Put it on your hook and wrap it around 2 times, so it's still kind of loose. Take the 2, twist it on its side, and pull it over. When I twisted it on my side, or on the side, it looks like an 8. It should look like a figure 8. Like that. And so I'm going to twist it and make 4 loops. And I'm going to take a rubber band and pull it onto 1 single rubber band. And now you will need a holding hook or a toothpick or something like that. Or you can just put it on the bottom of your loom. I'm going to use a holding hook. So I actually would use my plastic hook if you have a metal and a plastic. I wouldn't use the plastic for looping. I would use the plastic for a holding hook so it won't break as easily. You're just going to put it both sides onto your hook or on the bottom of your loom. If you're doing it on the bottom of your loom, you could just take this and slide it on the bottom peg of your rainbow loop. And you will do this again, but you're only going to loop the eye. You're only going to do it twice, and then make a figure 8 and pull it over again. Now you're going to take your holding hook, and be careful that the eye doesn't fall off. Put one side on your finger and the other side onto your hook. Then you're going to pull that on there and place it onto the top 2 pegs of your loom on the face. I do recommend that you spread those out, because when you're looping, these 2 rubber bands are going to come up and over, and if you don't spread them out, they're going to go to either like one side, so it'll look like that, and it'll just look like a big eye. It'll look like you only did one. So you want to do that. And now I'm going to place some holding rubber bands. I'm going to take my main body color, take it and stretch it across the bottom part of the face, and that's just going to kind of bring it together so it won't be 3 strands that have eyes and that are connected. So I really would recommend that. But if you want it to look like 3 strands, you could just not do this, but you would still have to do that for the eyes, unless you wanted to find out some other way. So I'll just put that back. And now you'll take your shell color and take it and stretch it across and put it on the top 2 where the legs are. You want to push that down because that one will overlap too. And now you're going to take your shell color again, stretch it across on the next 2. Take one more shell color and stretch it across where the legs are. Push that one down. I am using single rubber bands for the holding rubber bands. 2 just makes it look kind of bulky. So now we are ready to hook. So now you're going to take your rainbow loom, turn it around so the arrow faces towards you. And you're going to take your hook, go into that capping band, which is my tail, grab the top 2, pull it over to the side, whichever side it's going to. Mine went to the right, to this side first. And then take your next 2 and pull it over to that side. And now take the last 2 and pull it to wherever it goes. Mine went up. It just really depends on which way you went first. And now you're going to go all the way in where your legs are and all those rubber bands. So it's going to be kind of hard. This is the part that I would say use a metal hook for, because there is a lot of stress on your hook right there, because there is a lot of rubber bands. Go down to the very bottom and get the 2 that are on the bottom and pull it up. Now if your rubber bands do break, just bring your hook in here, stick it out to the side, put 2 more of those rubber bands on. If both of them break, and then pull it up and over. That's all you should need to do. And you would have to get it on here. So you just put it in and put both sides up there. So now I'm going to go to the other side and do the exact same thing. I'm going to go down to the very bottom. If it helps you, you can turn your loom to the side so you can see which rubber bands you're picking up. And then pull it up to the top. And then I'll do it in the middle. Go it down, and that one should be pretty easy to see since you only have this rubber band. Do not loop that rubber band up and over like that. It will not make your turtle look right. So go down, push that rubber band back, and just hold it back. Go down, get the 2 rubber bands, and pull it up to where those rubber bands lead. Then do it on the side again. It really doesn't matter what pattern you go in. I just go from the sides and then I'll go to the middle. I'll go from this side, then I'll go to this side, and then I'll go to the middle. So that just makes it more easy for me. So now you're gonna go on the other side. I just looped that side. So now you're gonna go to this side. Do not loop this rubber band. That will do the same thing as if you pulled this one up and looped it like that. So push that one back, hold it back if you need to, and pull it up and up onto the one with the leg. If you don't want legs, you don't have to add them. Like if you wanted it as the shell, as if it was like an egg as it was hatching. That was cute when I did that, but I like it with the legs and tail. And then you'll go and turn it to the side. I think that makes it a lot easier. So you can see what rubber bands you're picking up. Push all of them back and grab the bottom two shell color. Pull it up to the top one. And then you'll go down, and I'll turn it to the side again. Go down, push all of those rubber bands back and get the bottom two and loop it up to the top shell color. Now go in the middle. Just push that rubber band back because you don't want to loop it up or anything like that. So go down and pull it up to the very top. Now this has a lot of rubber bands on it right now, so it's gonna be pretty hard to get your rubber bands. So you probably want to go slow so you don't break rubber bands. And this is where I would say, if you're using a metal hook as a holding hook, put the rubber bands that you have on your holding hook onto the plastic one and use your metal one right now, because I have broken hooks getting it in here and trying to pull them out, and then when my hook breaks, my rubber bands break. So you probably want a metal one, or if you have plastic, be very, very careful and slow. And push all those green back, or whatever color your shell color is, and pull up the top two main body color. Mine go to this side. And then push the shell back and pull it up to this side, or whichever side it goes to. Now push all those back and get the last two bands and pull it up to where it goes. Now you've got that arrow again that has been looped. So you're done with that. You've gotten all your arrows done. You're going to go in on one of the sides and go in and grab the bottom two and pull it up. And then go in and go up to where it goes. Now this is where you want to make sure that your eyes are spread apart, and then you want to go in and grab that bottom two and pull it up in between the eyes. And then go down and push back the rubber band that's got the eyes on it and pull those two up to the very top peg. And then go in again and go to the side, go up to the top peg again. So you can see what your turtle is going to look like now. And I use the main body color for tying it off, but you can use different colors if you're making like a rainbow turtle or something like that. So you're going to take 2 or 3. I'm going to use 2 today. One broke, and then when that broke, my whole turtle kind of fell apart because there's a lot of rubber bands on there. So you're going to want to use more than one. So now take your hook and push it down through all the rubber bands so your hook kind of sticks out. And push it down, or all the rubber bands down on the hook. Kind of turn it so more rubber bands don't come up. And now you've got it coming through on your finger and on the peg. Put the ones that are on your finger onto your hook, and you're going to make a slip knot. Slip knots are very easy. All you do is you take your top rubber bands and the bottom and pull the bottom over. And then if you're using a hook or if you're just doing this with your hands, all you would have to do is kind of pull that one out and pull that one through. Then you would have tied your slip knot. Now you want that to be a tight slip knot. So pull that tight. And now you're going to start taking your rubber band baby turtle off. But do make sure you have teardrops or raindrops that have been made on all your rubber bands. Make sure that if there's some that look like they haven't been hooked, look and see if ones are under it and they've been pulled up, and then something connects through all of them. Like this. I've done this one, and the way that I know is there's that top two rubber bands and the bottom two rubber bands, and then these two go up. So I know I've done that stitch. Now if you're using, like, if you want, you can just pull it off like that, but I like using a hook or the back of your hook. If you're using a hook with a gripper on the back, you probably either want to take that off, or if you can't, use the top of your hook, because it'll get stuck down in there and then can't use that part of your hook anymore because it'll get stuck down in there. But mine won't come off. It was made that way. So I'm just going to use the top and bring it up and off of the pegs. Slowly, I will take it off just in case I missed any rubber bands. And if I did, I might catch it on my hook and then I could go back and fix it. But it would be very hard to fix it, so you should be sure. Be careful when you take off the part that had all these rubber bands on it. Be careful when you take that off because they could very well snap. Like your rubber bands would snap and then you would have to restart because that was like where everything was. Then that top peg, make sure your slip knot's done. And that is how to make a baby turtle. This is what your baby turtle should look like. Thank you, and thank you to everybody who watches my videos. And if you haven't seen my other video on how to make the birds from Rio, you should go check that out. Thanks.